take notes on them and you can tell them at the end.
You're good, great.
We are good to go.
Okay.
All right, everyone. We'll call this meeting to order at 6:34. Roll call.
Denny Mariola.
Here.
Rick Charles.
Here.
Dennis Campbell.
Here.
Nancy Benzel.
Here.
Janice Arch.
Here.
Christina Stats.
Here.
Amy Jones.
All right. Did everyone get a chance to review the minutes? Any comments on it? All right, can I get a motion to approve the minutes?
So
moved.
A second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Drew, tell us about the paperwork you did.
Yeah, real quickly, and this is a first crack at it. If you guys want some changes to it, please let me know. Coming off of last meeting, we talked about how for the finance director and the law director, there is not a provision for an acting in the event of incapacity, not vacancy, because we do have provisions in there for vacancy, but not acting. So what I did was I mirrored the language of what you guys talked about, that we've already not voted on, but discussed about acting mayor and clarifying that language. So you'll see for 6.08 acting finance director, the way we have it set is the assistant director of the general division shall become the acting finance director with all the powers of the finance director in the event the finance director is temporarily absent from the municipality, inaccessible, unable for any cause or reason to perform the duties of the finance director. I took out the provision, the fourth provision in there for acting mayor, because that pertained more so to when council selects the vacancy or deems it a vacancy. So it mirrors the language for acting mayor, but makes the assistant director of the general division the acting finance director in the event of these three situations.
So should you get kidnapped or sorted?
Yes,
Well,
exactly.
We actually had that this year with the finance director was kidnapped.
No, he had a medical emergency and was out for about 6 weeks. So we also, I'll just say, we have insurance in the event that happens too. I've checked, don't worry.
Kick me off the charter review right now.
No, we're mandating you forever now. All right, any questions for Drew or any comments on that?
Thank you for doing that. Those were good.
Thank you, great job.
And then similarly, just real quick, 9.07, that's acting law director. That says that the deputy law director, and I think I talked about this before, but just I want to briefly mention again, for most of the city, the number 2 in an office is the assistant director or the assistant finance director, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
The law department is the only department in the city that the deputy is the number 2 and the assistant is the number 3 or a little bit lower. It's just for whatever reason, when they were setting it up, it's different. So the deputy law director is the number 2 in the office. That's who becomes acting law director. Again, same things, inaccessible, unable to, for any cause or reason, or absent from the municipality.
So we talked about this a little bit last week because currently today in the financial department, the director of general division does not exist.
Correct.
That job title doesn't even exist in the job code.
Correct.
So if that ever happened again, the charter still doesn't cover that possibility.
That's
Right?
correct.
Even if
Yeah.
we do this, there's nothing there unless council makes action or something.
Yes, and I will say that there currently, and Kyle can speak to this as a member of council, currently there is a provision asking to add that back into the job title, the job chart.
But this is to my fellow commissioners. Do we want to add or next in line or something along those lines that would then indicate if that job's not filled, then it would go whoever is second in command or something along those lines. Is there legal language that could be put in something along those lines so that if the job does get eliminated, like this one did, and this wasn't eliminated just last year, it was eliminated a few years back, like what, 4 or 5 years ago?
Yeah.
Like
I actually think the position was eliminated, but then it was also a contract position. So I think it was ultimately taken out of the job classification about 2 years ago.
What did we do while Kelly was out?
Well, and that's where we talked about last week. we have a mechanism, say I have this mechanism right now that Steve has signatory authority for me. The problem we run into with acting finance director and having an acting finance director is there are certain things that you can't just hand over through a memo. So what we did while Kelly was out, and what we do if I'm ever out of the office, is I have a memo that says for these it's almost like a power of attorney. For these specific instances and in these situations, Steve can sign my signature, or Steve's signature acts as my signature. That's what we did in the finance department once there was a medical emergency. And that was a stopgap. It allowed us to get the general bills out and everything. But if we're talking bond work or something that the fiscal, it has to be certified by the fiscal officer or that sort of thing, that we actually had to go out and have Kelly physically sign, even though he wasn't back to the office yet. So yeah, I agree, Rick. It's still an issue, even if you make it this position.
So this just came to a thought of mine. Do we add another sentence at the end of that section, similar to this, and do the legal jumble around it? Basically saying, if that position is not filled, then the mayor can appoint a acting director till such time